Hey guys, so I know you're probably used to the regular intros by now, but today's news is just so insane, I felt I had to mention it right away. So first up, we've got groundbreaking research from Charles Darwin University in Australia, revealing that AI can now detect certain cancers with an astonishing 99% accuracy. Then there's news out of Texas, where a private school using AI-powered tutors saw their students' test scores skyrocket into the top 2% nationwide. And finally, we got a big update to DeepSeek's V3 model, along with a ton of other exciting AI news from the last couple of days. Let's get into it. Alright, so one of the crazier stories from this week was, of course, this article published by CDU Australia titled AI Diagnoses Major Cancer with Near Perfect Accuracy. In a joint effort with a few other universities across the globe, they've developed an AI model which can detect endometrial cancer with 99.26% accuracy. Endometrial cancer is the most common gynecological cancer in Australia and one of the most diagnosed cancers in Australian women. So endometrial cancer is a type of cancer that develops in the lining of the uterus, typically affecting women, especially those who are postmenopausal. The good news is, it's generally treatable, especially when caught early on. That's what makes this breakthrough such a big deal. Now, they further state, the model called ECG-MPL examines histopathological images, which are microscopic images of tissue used in disease analysis. The model enhances the quality of the images, identifies the most important areas, and analyzes the tissue. The current endometrial accuracy using automated diagnosis is reported to be approximately 78.91% to 80.93%. That means roughly 20% of cases were essentially going undiagnosed or undetected before this new AI model. Just imagine how many lives this could have saved. Also, what's even crazier about this model specifically is that it works for other cancers as well. As they state, co-author and CDU adjunct associate professor Niyusha Shafyabadi, sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, who is also an associate professor at Australian Catholic University, said the model also had benefits outside of endometrial cancer diagnosis. The same methodology can be applied for fast and accurate early detection and diagnosis of other diseases, which ultimately leads to better patient outcomes. We evaluated the model on several histopathology image datasets. It diagnosed colorectal cancer with 98.57% accuracy, breast cancer with 98.2% accuracy, and oral cancer with 97.34% accuracy. So this is a real-life example of how AI is already transforming healthcare. We're likely to see many more breakthroughs just like this in the near future. Looking further ahead though, I could see a world where AI integration becomes standard across virtually every facet of healthcare. Because, I mean, at a certain point, if AI consistently proves to be more accurate and more effective, it may literally become unethical not to use it in patient care. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this. Let me know in the comments. Now, while we're on the topic of AI transforming the healthcare industry, we have to talk about humanoid robots. This is Unitree's G1 humanoid robot performing direct clinical tasks through teleoperation. Teleoperation means a human controls the robot remotely, probably using something like a VR headset and specialized controllers. But that doesn't take away from how impressive this actually is. As you can see, the robot can do a wide range of medical procedures, from basic physical examinations, to emergency interventions, to even precision needle tasks. What's important to note is that by doing these tasks through teleoperation, it's also generating high-quality training data that it could then use to learn to do them autonomously. So the implications of this are obvious. I mean, this could revolutionize patient care, especially in remote or hazardous environments, and bring expert medical intervention anywhere in the world. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is Unitree's G1 model, which just last week pulled off the world's first ever standing side flip performed by a humanoid robot. And literally just a few days ago, it executed the world's first ever kip up from a humanoid robot. I'd like to see a human doctor do that. But jokes aside, this is genuinely insane. I've been saying this for a while now, but people are truly sleeping on humanoid robots. We're literally creating a smarter, more dexterous, hive-minded humanoid species. Soon enough, these robots could become more capable than any single human being you know at virtually anything you could imagine. In other AI news, Nvidia and xAI joined Microsoft, BlackRock, and Abu Dhabi's MGX to develop AI infrastructure. As this article states, Nvidia and Elon Musk's xAI have joined a consortium backed by Microsoft, investment fund MGX, and BlackRock to expand AI infrastructure in the US, the companies said on Wednesday, as a global race to dominate the nascent technology intensifies. Now, they didn't reveal exactly how much they plan on investing, but they do mention a broader goal of mobilizing up to $100 billion, including debt financing. This initiative is likely a direct response to OpenAI's massive $500 billion AI infrastructure project known as Project Stargate, involving Oracle and SoftBank. Clearly, this is where all the big money is going right now, and I can't wait to see the groundbreaking innovations that'll come from this. Speaking of xAI, I wanted to quickly mention that Grok now has a feature called Deeper Research. So previously they had Deep Research, and now there's Deeper Research, which is, well, just a more advanced and detailed version of the original, allowing Grok to explore topics in even greater depth. Nothing really more to say here. Now, speaking of search, Anthropic finally gave Claude access to the internet. As they state here, you can now use Claude to search the internet to provide more up-to-date and relevant responses. With web search, Claude has access to the latest events and information, boosting its accuracy on tasks that benefit from the most recent data. So, as we just saw, companies like xAI are already releasing advanced, deeper research features, while Anthropic is only now rolling out its first ever web search. The reason this is significant is because Anthropic has been famously cautious about giving chatbots internet access due to safety concerns. This raises an interesting question. Does this mean it's now genuinely safe to connect chatbots to the internet? Or has Anthropic just started to feel the competitive pressure? Personally, I think it's probably a bit of both, but let me know what you think in the comments. Now, Anthropic also recently introduced the Think tool, enabling Claude to stop and think in complex tool use situations. So what exactly is this Think tool? Well, they state here, with the Think tool, we're giving Claude the ability to include an additional thinking step, complete with its own designated space, as part of getting to its final answer. While it sounds similar to extended thinking, it's a different concept. Extended thinking is all about what Claude does before it starts generating a response. With extended thinking, Claude deeply considers and iterates on its plan before taking action. The Think tool is for Claude, once it starts generating a response, to add a step to stop and think about whether it has all the information it needs to move forward. This is particularly helpful when performing long chains of tool calls or in long, multi-step conversations with the user. So on the Tau bench, a comprehensive benchmark designed to test a model's ability to use tools in realistic customer service scenarios, it performs quite well. In this specific graph, we can see its performance in the airline domain of TauBench, which evaluates the model's ability to manage tasks like booking flights, modifying reservations, and handling airline policies during realistic customer interactions. Interestingly, extended thinking alone outperforms this newer Think tool, but when Think is combined with prompts featuring real-life examples from the airline domain, its performance improves significantly. And here, on the retail domain of TauBench, the Think tool without prompts actually surpasses extended thinking. So there's clearly a time and place for each approach, but overall, this is just another great tool added to the AI agent toolkit. Now, moving on, we've already seen how AI is transforming healthcare, but we haven't talked yet about how it's already transforming education. The article states, at Alpha School in Austin, Texas, students are placed in the classroom for 2 hours a day with an AI assistant, using the rest of the day to focus on skills like public speaking, financial literacy, and teamwork. We use an AI tutor and adaptive apps to provide a completely personalized learning experience for all of our students. And as a result, our students are learning faster. They're learning way better. In fact, our classes are in the top 2% in the country. So this is an area where I think AI could genuinely have one of the biggest impacts. We all know how important education is, and we all know how powerful one-on-one tutoring could be. I mean, you could easily look up the statistics on this, but just speaking from personal experience, I can tell you that back in high school, I used to be really bad at math. And then one year, I decided to get a math tutor. Well, to be honest, it was probably more my parents' idea. But anyway, after getting that tutor, I went from nearly failing and sitting at the bottom of my class to becoming one of the top students, often being asked by classmates for help. Now, this didn't last long, as for whatever reason, I stopped the tutoring and saw a visible decline in my grade. But the point is, imagine if every student had access to a great tutor like that, not just in math, but in any subject, available anytime, personalized specifically to their needs. That's exactly the kind of future only AI can realistically provide. The potential impact here is literally immeasurable. Who knows how much wasted potential exists in the world right now, especially in areas that don't have access to quality education, or perhaps any education at all. I think education and healthcare are probably the two most exciting industries AI is currently revolutionizing, and we've only barely scratched the surface of what's possible. Now, in some other news, OpenAI released 3 new state-of-the-art voice models in the API. 2 speech-to-text models, GPT-4o Transcribe and GPT-4o Mini Transcribe, and a new GPT-4o Mini text-to-speech model, which you can instruct on how to speak. You can give it specific instructions for tone, delivery, mood, and things of that nature. This release also comes with an Agents SDK update, making it easier for developers to turn text-based agents into voice agents, which significantly lowers the barrier for developers creating interactive AI applications. Now, they actually did a live stream for this release, so if you want to learn more about it, you can find it linked in the description down below. This wasn't the only OpenAI news from this week. Just recently, it was reported that OpenAI has reshuffled their leadership roles. As this article states, in a significant executive shuffle announced Monday, OpenAI is expanding COO Brad Lightcap's responsibilities, while CEO Sam Altman shifts his attention more toward the company's technical direction. Lightcap will now oversee day-to-day operations, international expansion, and manage key partnerships with tech giants like Microsoft and Apple, according to Bloomberg. OpenAI has also promoted Mark Chen to Chief Research Officer. He was recently SVP of Research, and Julia Villagra to Chief People Officer. She was formerly VP of People. This reshuffling comes just days after OpenAI announced that Liam Fadous, VP of Research for Post-Training, left the company to launch a new material science AI startup. So OpenAI has made big moves like this before, but with Altman stepping into a more hands-on role, it definitely seems like they're starting to feel the pressure. More and more companies are rapidly catching up, especially foreign companies, and OpenAI is clearly gearing up to maintain its lead. Now, speaking of foreign competition, OpenAI, along with Meta, is trying to expand its reach into India. As this article states, OpenAI and Meta platforms have held separate discussions with India's Reliance Industries over potential partnerships to expand their artificial intelligence offerings in the country. And further, OpenAI also discussed with employees cutting the ChatGPT subscription price to as low as several dollars instead of $20 a month, according to the report. So it seems like both OpenAI and Meta are looking for ways to scale quickly in India, not just through infrastructure partnerships, but also by adapting their pricing to be more accessible. Finally, the article also states that Reliance has discussed running the Meta and OpenAI models in a 3 gigawatt data center that the company is planning to build, which it has said is the largest data center in the world, located in the city of Jamnagar in Gujarat. So this would be a massive move for India, who is already an emerging force in the global tech landscape. Now, this kind of points to a bigger issue that OpenAI is facing right now. China has been severely undercutting their models, and more companies are embracing the lower cost open source option. As it states here, former Google China head Kai-Fu Lee is pivoting his AI startup O1.ai to fully embrace DeepSeek's open source models, describing them as an existential challenge to OpenAI's business model. According to Lee, DeepSeek's release triggered what he calls a ChatGPT moment in China, generating widespread enthusiasm for AI applications. This shift has prompted many Chinese hardware and software providers to align their services with DeepSeek models. It goes on to say, Lee believes DeepSeek's free, open source approach presents a fundamental challenge to OpenAI. The biggest nightmare for Sam Altman is that his competitor is free, Lee says. I've already met many people who have canceled their ChatGPT subscriptions because DeepSeek is free. So this really highlights the growing pressure on OpenAI. not just from other US-based companies, but also from the global open source wave that's threatening their entire business model. I mean, just this week, we had 3 big AI model releases from Chinese companies, Tencent, Alibaba, and DeepSeek. Tencent introduced Hunyuan T1, the first of its kind hybrid Mamba transformer architecture reasoning model. So this model is part transformer architecture, which is the architecture that nearly all LLMs are, and part Mamba architecture, which is a newer design focused on speed and efficiency, especially with long sequences. Mamba models use something called a state space model, which allows them to process data more like a continuous stream rather than relying on the attention mechanism that transformers use. Perhaps we will see more of this combination in the AI space, given how well it performs on these benchmarks. Then there's Alibaba's new Qwen model. They state 72B too big for VLM, VLM meaning vision language model, 7B not strong enough, then you should use our 32B model, Qwen 2.5 VL32B instruct. So this is a 32 billion parameter vision language model that is clearly state-of-the-art for its size. It outperforms GPT-4o, Google's Gemma 3, Mistral Small 3.1, and even Qwen's older 72 billion parameter model on most benchmarks. While not the biggest release, still pretty impressive. Now, probably the biggest release of them all, DeepSeek's V3 update. So this was kind of an unexpected release. I mean, there's been speculations on X that DeepSeek R2 was coming out this week, or maybe DeepSeek V4, but it seems like those were a little optimistic. What we did get was a minor upgrade to V3, and absolutely zero announcement from DeepSeek, not even a quick mention. But while initially people thought this was just a minor release, based on some community testing, it seems like this update was actually pretty big. One user on X claims it is the best non-reasoning model based on internal tests. Other community tests say the same thing, that this updated V3 model is either the best non-reasoning model or close to it. So again, China is putting a lot of pressure on OpenAI with these insanely cheap, high-performing, and widely accessible models. And as we saw earlier, it seems like China has only just now had their ChatGPT moment, meaning they're really only just getting started. It'll be interesting to see if OpenAI ends up reshaping their business model due to these growing concerns. I'm sure it's not something they want to do, but they might end up having no choice. Hey guys, just popping in here as I'm editing, DeepSeek actually just released the benchmarks on Hugging Face. So it's now confirmed that this updated DeepSeek V3 model is the best non-reasoning model, even outperforming Claude 3.7 Sonnet, a hybrid reasoner. Finally, to close out the video, there were 2 more things I wanted to quickly cover. First is this new graph published by METR Research, which shows that the length of tasks AI can do is doubling every 7 months. This has been going on apparently for the last 6 years, and extrapolating this trend predicts that in under 5 years, we will see AI agents that can independently complete a large fraction of software tasks that currently take humans days or even weeks. So this is pretty insane. We kind of have like a new Moore's law here, but with AI task length. This makes me wonder, how long until these AI agents can do tasks that take humans literal years to do? And what is that even gonna look like? Now, this final story is that Perplexity is planning to buy TikTok and to essentially rebuild it in America. It would be developed and maintained in America data centers with American oversight, ensuring alignment with domestic privacy standards and regulations. Now, Perplexity is primarily known as an AI search company, so it's definitely surprising to see them eyeing a massive move into social media. But maybe that's the play, combining their AI systems and algorithms with a platform like TikTok to build something truly AI native. Anyways, that's all the AI news for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to leave a like. And as always, if you want to stay up to date on future AI news just like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button.